Hello dear students, in this Java lecture we will discuss about data types in Java. Data types specify the different sizes and values that can be stored in a variable. There are two types of data types in Java. The first one is known as primitive and second one is known as non-primitive. Usually, we say that primitive data types are system defined, whereas non-primitive data types are user defined data types. This figure will elaborate about the types of data types in Java. The first one is primitive data types, second is non-primitive. Primitive data types can be further categorized into four parts: integer, floating point, character, and boolean. Non-primitives can be of four types: classes, interfaces, arrays, and strings. Further, integer data types under the primitive data types can be of further four types: byte, short, int, and long. Floating point can be categorized into float and double, whereas character can be represented by char and Boolean data type is represented by keyword Boolean. Now, this table will elaborate about the memory allocation of integer data type. First keyword in integer data type is a byte. It stores 8 bits of information of memory and it ranges from -128 to 127. The second keyword in integer data type is short. It consists of 2 bytes, that is nearly 16 bits of memory, and its range is from -32768 to 32767. Similarly, next is int, which can store up to 4 bytes, and long, which can store up to 8 bytes. And these are the ranges in which the memory allocation can be done for these two data types. Now, let's come to the example of integer data types. First data type is byte A. Here, the variable A stores the value 100. According to the memory allocation, the value of byte should lie between -128 to 127. So, in this case, the variable A will not generate any error because it lies in the given range. So when we print system.out.println A, then 100 outcome will be displayed on the output screen. Similar for the short, we can assign 5000 value. Then for int, we can assign a value up to 1 lakh. And in long, you can assign a value which can be up to 8 bytes long. And it is compulsory that in long you represent the data type by L in the end. Next data type is a floating point data type. Floating point data type has a two keywords, one is float, another is double. In float, we can store 4 bytes of information. Moreover, floating point data types always consist of decimal numbers or a fractional numbers. 4 bytes of floating number can store up to 6 to 7 decimal digits, whereas double can store 8 bytes and fractional numbers can be stored up to 15 decimal digits. Here is an example of how we can store floating point numbers into the memory. Like in this example, F1 is assigned a value 35E3. E stands for exponential power over here. Actually, it means 35 into 10 raised to power 3. So the outcome is 35,000. Double can store 12E4. It means 12 into 10 raised to power 4, which is equal to 1, 2, 0, 0, 0 and 0. Next data type is a character. As we know, in C and C++, char is of 1 byte. But in Java, there here the char is of 2 bytes. The reason is that it has a larger data set than C and C++. Character data type is used to store single character or letter into a memory space. Like in this example, the grade of student requires a data which is of character type. So when we print this grade, the outcome printed will be B. Next data type is a Boolean data type which stores only one bit of information which can be either true or false. Boolean A is equal to true, Boolean B is equal to false, and when we apply these into a system.out.println statements, the outcome will be true and false. Next is non-primitive data types. Non-primitive data types are called reference types because they refer to objects. The main difference between primitive and non-primitive data types are: primitive types are predefined in Java. Non-primitive types are created by programmer and is not defined by Java. Non-primitive types can be used to call methods to perform certain operations, while primitive types cannot. A primitive type has always a value, while non-primitive types can be null. A primitive type starts with lowercase letter, while non-primitive type starts with an uppercase letter. The size of primitive type depends upon the data type, while non-primitive types have all the same size. Thanks.